So I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you to each of you for creating a community that wants to come together in freedom and in joy, to have the opportunity to be a part of a community where the men's group, and they're all outside, right? They're all outside working to get everything ready for our barbecue and our picnic kind of thing. And I'm so lucky I got to wear my t-shirt today to church. So I'm really grateful, really, really grateful, because last week, or a week before last, I stood for 7 hours in my heels at Unity Worldwide Ministries answering questions. And it was a long day. And so still just to be able to be free and to know that together we create love. And our tagline, which is love in action, right, is how we live our lives. And we all do it differently. And we all do it and express it in different ways. And that is freedom. We get to choose how we show up in the world. And we all are responsible for the actions that we create in the world. And sometimes we got to clean it up, right? And our world's going through that. We have actions right now going on all over the planet. And let's bless them all and send love and light to all the leaders in every country, all over this world, in every moment of every day. That is part of our responsibility, so that we can shine our light and allow the love to flow, to allow a shift in consciousness. And it takes daily practice. When we sit in our meditation, that should be one of the things that we, and I said should, and I don't normally like that, but as we sit in our daily practice and offer peace, real love, we make a difference. And you don't know where you're making that difference, but we make a difference. And I want you to really know that and understand it. So when I started looking for this topic, because I wrote the title and synopsis, I don't know, a couple months ago. So this week when I really started looking at what does it mean to awaken to freedom, I found in Unity's collections online, if you haven't ever gone to unity.org and searched the archives of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore and also Eric Butterworth, I invite you to do that. It's very enlightening to read the founders' thoughts and lectures that they actually gave. And this one is a poem. It's called Ode to the Fourth by Eric Butterworth. In 1776, a group of American mavericks renounced the yoke of tyranny, the tax on stamps, the tax on tea. Our fathers felt that we were to fix, to tax ourselves, and you'll admit we have been very good at it. Now, for those of you that don't know, Eric Butterworth was a minister in New York in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and still in the early 90s a little bit. And we have been good at it. And we continue to unfold in humanity. He goes on to say, the real keynote of American freedom that we celebrate on the 4th of July is the freedom of thought. The only true freedom man, and I'm going to say humanity, ever has. I'm going to read that again. The real keynote of American freedom that we celebrate on the 4th of July is the freedom of thought, the only true freedom humanity has and ever has. Thus, I can think of no better theme for Independence Day message than one devoted primarily to the mental conditioning, the careful preservation of man's freedom of thought. And I expanded on it. In order to claim spiritual freedom, we must release the thoughts, patterns, and beliefs which keep us bound in bondage. It is an inside job to observe, awaken, and break free to live as your true self. So, back when our forefathers founded this land, it was to escape the tyranny of England, right? And for some, it was for religious reasons, because they were being persecuted. I know that my own heritage as Irish and Native American, my forefathers fled Ireland because they were being prosecuted. They were also part of the tyranny. They were part of the war, right? Part of the Huguenots. And I found out that on both my parents' side, they were fighting on the same side as Huguenots. That's amazing. And then they fled. Now, one of them had fled France prior because they fled from Napoleon, right? And then they fled from Ireland to the United States. I'm not going to flee. I'm here to be an American. Truth sets us free. The truth is in us. There is nothing that bounds us but our own thinking. That's our trap. You're only trapped to the degree that you believe what you've been told is true, or to the patterns that you've created in your life that keep you in confinement. How do we break free of the thoughts and the patterns and the old beliefs? Because as Emily Cady, that's where I went to next, right? How many of you guys have read Lessons in Truth? Okay, it's a book, Lessons in Truth, most of you, good. So in Lessons in Truth, if you have one of the original books, because for a while they took this chapter out. It is chapter 1 in the original book. It's called, the first lesson, Bondage or Liberty, which? You get to choose. So think about that. Bondage or liberty, which? Which do you choose? Emily says, by laying aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs, by doing so you will be saved the trouble of trying to put new wine into old wineskins. And that's from Luke 5:37. Now we've all heard that before, but how many of you believe it? How many of you truly practice letting go of the old patterns which no longer serve you? Letting go of the beliefs that your parents held that no longer serve you. Letting go of the beliefs that your grandparents held which no longer serve you. Even letting go of the beliefs that our forefathers held which no longer serve us. That's our job. That's how we stand in our truth. Next, she tells us to be willing to become as a little child. For said the Master in spiritual things, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven. So unless we are open and receptive as a little child, and how many of you ever saw the delight of a child who's less than 4? And the freedom to express and buzz around like a little bee fluttering from one thing to the other. Anybody ever experienced that? Or to look into their eyes and to see the wisdom that is there before we tell them that it's not true. Because that's what happens to our children. We take from them their imagination, and we allow them to believe the things that we believe, which may or may not be true. We shape them into little images of us instead of the image and likeness of God that is within them, the freedom that they truly are to be in this world. And if you look at kids today, and has anybody read The Anxious Child? It's really hard to get it at the library. If you haven't read it, I suggest you pick it up. Really scary for me, because as a nerd in our society, and back in the 70s when I was doing computer programming and system analyst, I taught my 4 and 5-year-old children how to program in DOS, right? And they're like little sponges, they just eat it up. And today, how many of us are sitting in front of computer screens for 8 and 10 hours every day, working, never getting a break? And then we have these. They go everywhere we go, right? We're always on our devices. Look at the children who are babies. My granddaughter, 2 years old, knew how to work one of these, an iPad, at age 2, right? I taught my daughter at age 4. Her daughter automatically picked it up at age 2. And it's a very addictive process, because our brains are not wired for the constant stimulation that we get through our devices. And it's been a real eye-opening for a lot of parents whose children are 12, 13, 14, and experiencing extreme anxiety, especially after COVID. And the difficulty in learning, because they were trying to learn at home on a device that had always been entertainment, right? And what that has done to their nervous and emotional systems. And we have to be accountable for that. Society has to be accountable for that. Because now we have children who are growing up in a whole new space that is, for me, sometimes difficult, right? Because what's a binary child? Does anybody know? I do. I have a granddaughter that is binary. This is the world, because there is one in that being that is claimed there. There is only oneness. And so embracing all of the masculine and feminine that the binary child is, right? That's a wonderful mechanism of expression. And it's hard for me sometimes to understand. And don't get me on the pronouns, because I can't get one right at all, ever. And that's okay. And they look at me, when I hang out with these 12 and 13-year-olds and I'm saying he, she, they just laugh. I was like, I'll find out what it is eventually. But right now, I'm just going to go through the pronouns. Anybody else ever done that? Because I'm still stuck in the old way. They're not stuck. They are very free. They are very imaginative. They live in a world that they've created, right? At 12, being able to create videos and animation that is unbelievable. Because at 2, she knew how to use this. And at 12 is very creative and allowing that to flow through. And we all have those. And we all need to let them grow and be, just as we grow and be, without crushing it. Because that's what happened to a lot of us. Our imagination, creativity was set aside to become a worker bee, right? Look at the world that we grew up in. Well, I'll tell you the world I grew up in. It was all about you get a job, you go to work, you make the money, and you come home, and sometime in the future you're going to retire and have a great life. But right now, what you're doing is making money, and you're working. Even though my parents grew up in unity, that was still the thought. Education was primary in our household. All of us went to college. We didn't have a choice. It was what we did. So we have to look beyond the appearances of the attachments of the material world. We have to look beyond the changes that we don't understand. And we have to embrace it. We have to embrace every living soul on this planet. Whether we understand them or not, it does not matter. Whether we understand the tyranny doesn't matter. What we have to do is bless and love them, and that is the hardest thing that we can ever do, but by golly, it is the only thing that we can do, is to be the love. That is what true freedom is about. Spiritual freedom. Everyone believes that we're in bondage. Everyone has created a mental trap, but it's not our truth. We must all grow up in our own conscious mind from that animal sense that is a part of us into our spiritual path. How do we do that? Emily Cady tells us, and she actually instructs us, to be strong. Strong in God, and to live from the strength of God. We all have to rise up and go to the Spirit, the Father, God, the oneness of all that is. And we have to be honest and true when we get there. We have to ask for forgiveness for everything that we've done and the mistakes that we're going to make in the future. So go ahead and ask for it all at once, and then keep asking for it every day. Because we are going to make mistakes in the future, right? We're going to condition each other in some way that is not perfect. And that's okay. As long as we are honest and we acknowledge our mistakes. And we amend to those that we have hurt. And we apologize to ourselves first for putting the stress on ourselves, for putting the guilt on ourselves and on others. We have to be and claim our good. And the only way we can do that is to go within, like we did in today's meditation. And we express the order of the divine law and the divine law of love, which is all good. That's when true freedom sets in, the joyful freedom, the joy of being love. We've all risen up out of Egypt, which, if you don't know metaphysically, is the ignorance and the darkness. And we're seeking the land of liberty, the land of milk and honey, right? That's what happened in Genesis. And what that means is we're seeking our good. And here's the key. Stop seeking it and claim it. Just claim your good. It's already there. You don't have to seek it anymore. It's all right here. It's called love. And it's in you. It's alive. It's the wisdom and power of everything that you already are. There's no place that it's not. So claim that and be that always. Not just now, not just this week. Always claim your own power and your own good, because it's always there. You're never separated from it. You just have to get your thoughts in alignment with the Spirit. So the longest 12 inches in the world is from the head to the heart. It's what we teach in chaplaincy. Get your head out of the way and drop into your heart and be that which you truly are. There is nothing you do not already have within you. There's no reason to seek anything else but you. Your divine inheritance is there. So forgive yourself for your ignorance. We got to clean it up and we got to release it, right? We can't live in the wallow of, oh, I did that. Oh, did I really say that? Yeah, you probably did, and that's okay. Let it go. Did I really hurt that person? Yeah, you probably did, and it's okay, and let it go, because you know what? They don't even remember it. That's the truth of it. It's in your head, not theirs. It's your story, not their story. Let the story go, because it's not the truth. It's what you've made up about it. So be willing to enter the kingdom. Be open and receptive to all things. Rise up to that Christ within. So the last thing that Emily Cady tells us is, now more than ever we must do our practice of silence. Nothing but being with yourself. No music, no twiddling, just being still and quiet. That is the hardest thing that you will accomplish. Be with yourself and know that whatever is true is true. Whatever things are pure are pure. Whatever things are just are just. Whatever things are lovely are lovely. And whatever things are good are good. If there's any virtue, it would be praise. And think of those things when you're in the silence. That's our job. To think on the good. So when you enter the silence and you're letting go of all the thoughts that we think we truly are, latch on to the purity and love that is your truth. Take that with you into the silence. The source of you is always there. The source of you is love, light, and peace. You get to choose bondage or freedom. Which do you choose? I love you. I bless you. I behold the living Christ as each of you.